What's up, guys? Welcome back to my podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for spending your day with me. According to my nipples, the summer is over. It is snowing outside. It is freezing, and you can't walk outside for 1 second without your nipples, sharp as glass. So, like I said, according to my nipples, summer is over. So the winter, this is where I'm gonna be, right here, filming podcasts for you guys, talking to you guys, educating you guys, and getting to know me better. So my name is Roma Army. It's Roma Army, not Amy. Lots of people think it's Amy, or they think that it's just one word, but it is Roma Army. I am Roma. Roma means Romanian gypsy. I was in fact born in Romania. I am of Romani descent. Growing up as a Canadian gypsy, there's a lot of really negative stereotypes, even here in Canada, about gypsies, what we're about. Lots of stigmas and racial shit that goes on, if I'm being honest. So I feel that it is important to own the fact that I'm Romanian gypsy, despite what the world may say. Gypsy is not, in fact, a slur. It just depends on how you're saying it. So, I mean, the first thing that I get when I say to people, hey, I'm Romanian gypsy, and they're like, oh, isn't that a slur? It's like, no. I mean, are you saying, oh, here comes the gypsy, hide your wallets? Like, yeah, that's a slur. But if I'm saying, like, yo, I'm Romanian gypsy, they're like, yo, she's Romanian gypsy. I mean, that's not a slur. It's really unfortunate because gypsies are so stigmatized, so stereotyped, and so disliked that even like the word for us is apparently offensive and dirty and this and that. So I am here as a gypsy myself to let you know that as long as you are being appropriate, you're not being an asshole, then it's okay. You can refer to us as a gypsy. That's what I am. I got the name for this movement from my following. I didn't really know what to name it. I don't even know what I had in mind before, but everybody just kind of started calling me Roma. They really referred to themselves as like soldiers, which I agree. I mean, you guys are soldiers. Every single day that you wake up and you don't want to, you're a soldier, in my opinion. That goes men and women. I feel like an army, when stand together, is so strong. An army is there to defend, to protect, and speak for what's right. So I think that's why Roma Army is so, it's really strong, and it's a strong representation for me. The next question that I think everybody wants to know is, why egalitarianism? Why speak for men's rights? Why not, just join the feminist movements? I would be way more accepted online by the women, probably wouldn't get as many false allegations as I got. Let's be honest, my life would be easier if I just advocated for feminism. So why not do that? Why put myself in the line of fire every day? Why deal with false allegations? Why deal with getting my address doxxed, my safety put at risk? Why? Well, simple. I believe in equality. When I look at some of these feminist pages, feminists like Clementine Ford, who are very radical, I look at their pages and I read some of this stuff that they're saying, like, if you don't have a vagina, you don't have an opinion on this. Men are just the root of all problems, and this, and this. And they use things like privilege and patriarchy, and they will slap that in the face of any man who disagrees. Those are radical feminists. Can I just clear that up? That it's not all feminists, and radical feminists are not real feminists. But let's be honest, that's what we see. We see a really poor representation for women's issues. So when you look into MRAs and who's advocating for men's rights, we almost see a very similar thing. We see pages that are saying, basically undermining women's issues, saying, they're not as prominent. I've seen videos where it's like, guy hits on the girl and he's not handsome, and false rape allegation, and these are like, it happens, but is that the narrative that you want to push when advocating for men? Do you want to push this narrative that, like, all women are evil, just like how the feminists are pushing that, like, all men are evil? No. So when I saw the representation of what there was for men online, I was quite concerned because I felt like a lot of it was radical. I felt like men were being fueled with anger, with frustration, which was a result of not being with not being understood, with being blamed. You know, we've got young men who are just 13, 14, 15 years old who are already saying fuck feminism. And it's like, bruh, you don't even understand what feminism is yet. Most of these people that claim to be feminists don't even really understand what the heck a feminist is. But the point is that feminism is losing the support of males. MRAs barely have the support of females, and we need to do something about it. I'm tired of seeing online this gender divide. I'm tired of seeing men and women bitch at each other, blame each other. You're doing this, you have this, I don't have this, and we're just using this to fuel this fire. It's not fair. It's ridiculous. Nobody is going anywhere. I grew up with men, so I have a good appreciation for their feelings, their emotions, the way that they see things, the way that they perceive things, the way that they perceive women's issues, the way that they perceive their own issues not being listened to. And that has given me the ability to see men as human beings. Don't get me wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, I was raised in the exact same society that you were. I was raised to believe dumb things like, if you're a woman walking out late after dark, you must hold a key in between your fingers. Well, let me tell you something. I tried that once, okay? I tried to punch somebody with a key in between my finger, and for those that aren't watching this on camera, I don't think you can see, but my middle finger is very much crooked and bent, and that is very much due to that false information. So women, if there's any women listening, or young men, please, for the love of God, do not hold something like a key in between your fingers and try to punch somebody. You will break your fucking fingers. Thank you. With that being said, I too was raised to believe that because I'm a woman, I'm automatically a victim. Because I'm a woman, I need to automatically fear men. Because I'm a woman, I need to be hyper vigilant about the fact that men don't want to listen to me, that they don't want to respect me. I was raised in this society too. And for the men watching, I really want you to understand that these are the things that we are taught. We, as young girls, have it put into our heads right from little. Don't touch men, put on certain clothes when that certain family member comes over. And these are damaging to men, and they're damaging to young women. I grew up in the same society. I grew up being fed these toxic ideologies as well. But it was the ability to grow up with men and to see that the things that I was taught was wrong that was able to give me the point of view that I have. I have had men protect me with their life. I have had men give me their last dollars so that I could have something to eat. I have had men put their life on the line to make sure that I was okay. I grew up, I didn't grow up in the suburbs. I grew up in social services. I grew up around street kids. I had a rough upbringing, and you best believe that the people around me that were protecting me and making sure that I was able to sit in this seat and talk to you today were men. They were young men that put themselves above themselves and to help me. And that showed me that this ideology that I have, that all men are just in the world to hurt you, that you can't trust them, they're not going to keep you safe, that they're selfish, they're not going to listen to you. Everything that I was taught was proved wrong to me. It was wrong. In fact, I was also taught that men were the only ones that could be abusive, but yet I was watching my guy friends getting slapped by their girlfriends, getting spat on by their girlfriends, and don't get me wrong, I did not just watch, however. This is something that I was seeing. So to the men watching this, I really want you to understand that these women are not just pulling these ideologies out of their assholes. We have these perceptions in society for a reason. And I can't help but think that if the women that hate men, if I was a woman and the only interactions, I am a woman, but if the only interactions that I had with men were specifically with the most toxic men that I've met in my life, the father of my kid, if the only interactions I've had was with those guys, along with society prepping me right from a little girl that men are trash, I might become radical. However, I was fortunate enough to be given a different perspective, but you have to understand that there are lots of women that did not have the opportunity to have a different perspective. And that is why I'm here. That is my purpose. That is why I'm a men's rights advocate, because I want to bring this to a new approach. I want to show women that men want to listen to us. They want to listen to our problems. They want to help us strive for gender equality, but they don't want to be demonized. Men are not afraid of being made aware, of taking accountability, but men don't want to take accountability for things that they have not done. And it is not fair for us to go to, every single white man and say, you need to feel guilty because you're a white man and, other white men like you have raped, they have killed, they have done this, this, and this. That is not fair. It is absolutely ridiculous. It's prejudice and it's bias. We need to be able to show society that this isn't the way it needs to be. Men do want to listen. They do want to help women feel safer in their community. But it is difficult to be open-minded when you're being demonized and you're being pooped on. Let's be honest. I wouldn't want to listen to somebody who, maybe somebody who has been who was beat up by a group of gypsies, right? And they're trying to talk to me and they're like, bruh. These gypsies, they're all trash. They're all terrible people. I don't know what to do. And me as a gypsy, I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm sitting here perfectly good. Thank you very much. But if that person were to come to me and say, I have had shitty, negative experiences with gypsies. This is why I'm afraid. I am more willing to sit there and be like, that is 100% understandable. Somebody did that to you. That is traumatizing. You were taught this. You were raised with implicit bias. I am more willing to understand by just having somebody say, this is why I feel this way, rather than just being like, nope, you're the problem. We're not the problem. We're not going to think. We're not going to self-reflect. We're not going to do any of that. Okay? That's not the answer. So I am not here to ignore women's issues. I'm not here to put men on a pedestal. I'm not here to put women on a pedestal. I am here to put human beings on a pedestal, to put the right people on the pedestal. That is men and women who truly want equality. That's what I'm here for. The values of this movement, that's something that I find really, really special to me. And that's what I find different. The values of this movement is what is going to drive it into where I want it to go. We are going to preach our message with true equality. We are not going to speak on men's issues by saying, these are the men's issues and all women are to blame for it. No. We're going to say, these are the issues. Society is allowing this to happen and it is damaging men. It is also damaging women. I feel like feminists need to be doing that as well. I feel like they need to be saying, taking some accountability within their movements and saying, stop using the hashtag #PegAllMen2020. I feel like it's not that hard. I feel like it's not that hard. I mean, that's just my opinion. But we want to drive this with true equality. We want to look at everything that we feel like those feminazis are doing wrong, these pages that are being blaming, that are being demonizing, that are using fear-mongering. We are going to take that example and we are going to do the exact opposite. The values of this movement is to try to help men and women understand both sides, to understand that we have privilege, we have disadvantages as well. But privilege is not here to be used as some tool. You're not supposed to sit here and scream at somebody on the other side of the island because they got the privilege of oranges and you've only got apples. That makes absolutely no sense. It's redundant and it gets you nowhere. Instead, maybe you guys could sit on both sides and be like, yo, you got apples, I got oranges. Maybe we could play a game of toss and we could trade. That is the value of this movement, is really trying to get people to understand both sides by trading values, trading ideologies, and not being fucking radical assholes. Is that okay? Can we not be radical assholes? Anyways, I feel like men's rights movements need a new approach. I feel like feminism needs a new approach. I feel like we can just be doing better. what we're doing right now is causing a gender divide. We are angry with each other. We are blaming each other. And where is it taking us? Nowhere. We need to be advocating this message through peace, through equality, and through making sure that we're saying we're not trying to say that it's super easy to be a woman, but we're just saying it is difficult to be a man as well. Please acknowledge this. Once this is acknowledged, we can go move forward together. That's my goal. That's the plan. I want people to have true equality. I want people to understand both sides. I want to advocate through peace. I don't want aggression, and I don't want radical systems, and I don't want radical beliefs. If we can do this, if we can build this movement based off of equality, no blame, no fear-mongering, no dick. No, just kidding. But if we can do this with level heads on our shoulders, we can take this movement where I want it to go. I myself, I want to do comedy. I love comedy. I love saying dick. Thank you, Paul Rudd. I would love to shake your hand someday. It is due to Paul Rudd. I love comedy. I love to make people laugh, but I also love to show people my intellectual side. I want to show people that that I'm funny, but that I'm smart, that I'm articulate, I'm intellectual, I'm educated, and I want to do that through politics. So my goal is could you imagine? Look at me. Look at my tattoos. Do you see this massive penis-looking tattoo on my neck? Could you imagine if this tattooed crazy woman right here was the very first tattooed woman, heavily tattooed woman, to stand in politics? I don't know if it'd be politics ever, but definitely Canadian politics. I want to change the systems. I don't want to just be a face that everybody knows. I don't want to just be that girl with shitty tattoos that says no dick. I want to show people that I am smart and that this movement is going to go somewhere. I want to stand in politics. I want to stand in politics because I want to change some of the laws that we have that are oppressing men and women, such as the family court system. That needs to change. I am not saying take away child support. Somebody tried to say once that I believed that. That is a lie. Fake news. You need child support. I think that system needs to be relooked at. It needs to be reworked. I don't think a man should be able to make enough money to live in 2 condos, 2 apartments, but be living out of his fucking truck because he's paying so much money to the wife of his kids. I think that there needs to be a system put in place. I think that it needs to make sure that the money that he is giving for his kids is going to things like his kids and his household and not paying for things like spa trips. I'm not trying to insinuate that all mothers misuse child support, but what I will say is that it is becoming more and more common to see on social media, especially with the younger generation of mothers, that on child tax day, on child support day, they do have things like new weed, new bongs, brand new nails, their hair's done. And we know that men are working their ass off, struggling, and they're not struggling to put new nails on your hands, okay? That's not what they're here for. I want to go in politics because I want to change some of the systems and some of the policies that are put in place. I don't know if I'm ever going to make it there, but I'm going to try really, really hard. I would love to do this by building a panel of women. I want to bring together a group of women. I've already started. I have a good handful of them already. And I want to build a community of women that advocate for men as well. If something, God forbid, were to ever happen to me, I would have a legacy of women behind me that can continue this, that can show you guys that I am not the only woman. I am hearing and seeing a lot of comments on my social media saying things like, you are the only woman that I will listen to, you're the only woman that deserves respect, and I'm telling you, please stop saying that. I don't value it. I understand what you guys are saying, but how that reads to other people reading it are these people only respect this woman and no other woman. And I understand why a lot of men have that perception. It is wrong. It's wrong. but I understand it. So I want to show you guys that I am not the only woman that understands you guys. I am not the only woman who feels strongly about these beliefs. And before I was on TikTok, I didn't see any other woman talking about these things. I didn't see anybody advocating. And now I see so many young women that are coming forward, that are speaking up. And, maybe I can't take full credit for that. But I would like to take credit for taking them under my wing and helping push their career, just like I built mine. I want to be able to sit on a panel with these women someday and answer questions in front of an audience and really set an example for young women and show women what it means to be a powerful woman. Being a powerful woman doesn't mean that you're 100% independent from men, that you don't need men, that, you can only preach for feminism. Being a strong, independent woman is saying, I understand that I'm a woman. I have disadvantages, I also have privileges, but what makes me a strong woman is being able to stand and use my voice for equality. That is strength. Those are some powerful women, and that's what I want to build. My plan is to have a nonprofit organization by the time I'm 30 years old that is going to help young men of all ages, actually, fathers specifically, out of separation. I think if we look at the biggest issues when men separate from their wives is residency. So a lot of them leave the home to the wife and the kids. And the lack of being able to see their kids. A lot of the times they don't get to see their kids as much because they don't have the place to live. So I would love to create a system, a nonprofit organization that creates sustainable residency for these men so that they can see their kids, that will help them fight their court cases while they're in the program with us, that will make sure that they are seeing their kids as much as possible. I want to build a network for fathers. I want to build subsidy for fathers. There is no support. If a mother can't pay for her kids, we have child support, we got child tax, we got welfare, we've got this, and this. And you know what a man does if he can't pay for his kids? Do you know? I know most of you know, but in case some of you don't know, he goes to jail. That's his help. That's his support. Fathoming. I don't understand. I don't understand where it comes from. I don't understand the logic. But you better believe that I'm going to do my very best to change it someday. I don't want to just sit here and be a face. I'm not here just so that I can get recognized when I walk down the street. I'm not here just so that I can get Patreon subscribers. I want to build this, and I want to take this to make history. I want the Roma Army to be the first men's rights movement to be taken seriously, to make a stand in history, to be about equality. Because right now, men's rights movements aren't being taken seriously, and they're being taken seriously the same amount as radical feminists are being taken seriously by us. We look at them, we laugh at them, and that is how MRAs are being treated. It's wrong. A lot of them aren't radical. However, if I was a woman and I was like, what is men's rights advocacy about? Advocacy? What the fuck? Tired. If I was a woman and I was like, what is men's rights advocacy about? And then I went on Instagram and I found a lot of the pages that I'm finding, I would be like, wow, I don't want anything to do with this. These people have no understanding of my problems or what women are going through. And I feel like that's what's happening. And myself as a men's rights advocate, I see some of these Instagram pages and I just want to DM them and be like, can you please stop calling yourself a men's rights advocate? You are making my job hard. But I just want to lead by example. This movement is going to make history. I'm going to bring you guys with me. I want to make a difference. I want to help young men. I want young men to realize that they don't need to grow up with a fear of their lives, their well-being. Because ladies, guys grow up with a lot of fears and ideas that are placed in their heads by society as well. Men deal greatly with body image issues. Believe it or not, men too don't like walking out late at night because guess what? Shitty people hurt people, not men, okay? Shitty people. There's no understanding anymore. And I'm not really sure that there ever was one. I think that our society thrives off of chaos and it thrives off of blaming each other. And I think that it's just about time that somebody say, y'all are acting like a bunch of 5th graders. Let's be honest. You guys are crying over crayons. Who's got the crayons? When in reality, we should be putting all the crayons in the box and then sharing the crayons. So guys, let's put all the crayons in the box, all right? Let's quit blaming people. Feminists, Clementine Ford, if you're watching this, please call out the toxicity in your movement. I promise to do the same thing. I will call out the men who, believe that women shouldn't be in positions of power, that a woman shouldn't be able to do whatever she wants with her body. I will call that out. Are you going to do the same? Are you gonna call out the women that are saying things like peg all men 2020, hashtag kill all men? Because I can tell you, as a men's rights advocate, as somebody who has millions of followers, hundreds of thousands, but I think I can say millions because I got 1.5 million on TikTok. Shameless plug. Anyways, I can say confidently that I am concerned for the young men of our generation and the understanding that they have for women's issues and feminism. Young men are being raised in a society where you've got hashtags on Twitter, TikTok, kill all men, bone marrow babies, peg them all. And guess what? You are going to end up raising a generation of misogynistic men. I'm very concerned for the way that feminism is losing the support of men. Feminism is very important. You need feminism. Feminists, we need men's rights movements. We need egalitarianism. That's what that is. I'm an egalitarian. That's called egalitarianism, is when you believe in true equality on both sides. We need that because it's 2020. This is not the time to have men starting to say fuck feminism because all they're seeing is this radical shit. We need to fix it, and we need to fix it now. I'm going to do my part, so can you help me? Because I would like to bring this movement to history. I would like to make sure that men and women can just understand each other for once and not blame each other and scream about bone marrow babies. Who would even go for a bone marrow baby anyways? I don't understand. I feel like I know that there are so many people that know that it's a joke, but there's also so many people that are actually believing this, that are banking on the fact that we're going to have bone marrow babies. Okay, well, I hope you have fun with your blob of a baby with fucking 4 eyes and a massive nose and a blob. Just a blob. You can carry that. It'll stick to the blanket. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm done here for today. I am going to go try to toast my nipples because, like I said, it is hella cold here in Canada. Americans, I don't want to hear you guys complain about the cold, okay? I love you guys so much. I have so much respect for you. But I had one of my homies, not so much anymore, but up in Florida, and he was bitching about the cold. And I was like, you're in Florida. You're in Florida. You wouldn't even know what cold was. The coldest you get is the freaking beer in your hand. Okay? Thank you. That's all I have to say. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys so much. Make sure that you go follow all my social media. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, not on Facebook because I got banned from that platform. But you can find me on TikTok as well. Obviously, YouTube. Google me. You can Google me. That's all right. Make sure you get your Roma Army merch as well. You can get the Roma Army hoodie, the shirts, the logo, the signature, the Men Are More Than Dicks and Piggy Banks. You can get that in red, black sweaters, shirts, a whole bunch of sizes on romaarmy.com or nodick.com. Dick is with a Q. Thank you so much for watching. Be kind.